This is Meat Mitch, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Good evening and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. This show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website. And here's what's happening coming up in about 12 minutes from now.
Shit.
It is the first Tuesday of a brand new month, and that can only mean a visit from our pal Malcom Reed over at How to Barbecue, right? Plenty to talk about from a topics standpoint. I'm not even going to risk this. Stand by. Stand by. All right, now we have fixed the situation. Look, 10 minutes ago, this show was not happening. There was an issue with the board not coming up the way it needs to come up, and just shy of me resetting my iPad interface where I saw the Wi-Fi connection being made to the iPad, I didn't think there was any way that sound was going to make it through this microphone and into the board and then out to the internet. So I was getting ready to thumb out, hey, show's canceled because looks like I need a new mixer. However, we can control it with the iPad. So luckily, that's a good thing. And then I forgot to put the piss box on top of it. And then, of course, Charlie came in and started standing on top of the mixer. We can't have that. That could lead to all kinds of complications. So quick break to put the piss box on top, and now we are off and running. So I had mentioned Malcom Reed is in tonight, and then following Malcom Reed for his first quarterly appearance here in 2026, our pal Mike Lang from Another Pint Please. And that will bring a close to the first hour. Then we'll move to the second hour, where you will find another YouTube media sensation and a dear friend of mine, Sam the Cooking Guy. And to close it out, coming out of the proverbial bullpen, one of our favorite new guests here over the last year or so, and here to introduce a new cigar, Senior VP of Marketing and Sales, Amanda McAuliffe from McAuliffe Cigars. Looking forward to seeing what Amanda will be unveiling. Although I do have a little insider's information, but if you are a fan of McAuliffe cigars, you are a fan of the Color Series that I have been sampling out here these many times, you are definitely going to want to stay tuned to the end of the show or grab the replay on Thursday when it goes into the audio stream, or watch the video archive, because that immediately archives after this show ends. So that's what's happening here tonight. Malcom Reed and Mike Lang, first hour. Sam the Cooking Guy, Amanda McAuliffe in the second hour. Don't forget, you can follow me socially on Instagram and Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of the video streaming platforms. You can go over to Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch on YouTube, which is YouTube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We have a new YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. It is a would you rather, so we're asking everybody tonight, would you rather spend a night in a dumpster or a night in a porta potty? And currently 71% of you are saying a dumpster. Wow. We'll see how that plays out through the remaining minutes of the show. Results from the poll question last week. Would you rather give up sex for a year or your cell phone for a year? And 63% of you said you would rather give up the phone. What is wrong with you? No, wait, that is the right answer, by the way. Yes, you do want to give up the phone. Don't give up sex. I mean, what are you, maniacs? Again, I go back to almost 40% of you, and my daughter saying she was one of them, would rather give up the sex. You want to keep the phone. Outrageous. However, we will start here this evening, and many of you are saying that indeed you would like to see the gentleman from Georgia gaining a permanent spot on the embedded correspondence desk going forward. That, of course, being our pal Rashid Phillips. The bottom line is this. I don't disagree, and I think Rashid would be and bring a great perspective to an already esteemed opinion-making panel of Doug and Rusty and John. Rashid has good takes. Really good takes. He is unafraid to give his 100% answer on statements of the topic at hand. Now, in reality, Rashid also very busy. He does his own podcast, of course. He has his own business, travels extensively. So his availability, which is the best ability when you're asking sports people especially, to do something monthly is probably a bit constrained. That being said, I did extend a formal invitation to Rashid over the weekend to show him that there is at least genuine interest on my part to take him on as part of the embedded correspondence group. No answer back yet, and no expectation that he would be able to accommodate such a request. But he is that good. Also, a lot of reaction to the interview, and should I say first hour of last week's show, where we had the co-founder of the Barbecue World Cup, Scott Erdman, on. Everyone excited that, according to Scott, the money is locked in. Many of you loved that this is a $1 million get for the grand champion, and it's not a $1 million overall payout. The winner gets $1 million. Additionally, there will be perhaps 100 or 200,000 more dollars or so to pay out through categories and spots. So that in itself is a very big deal. But what remains a concern to me, and what hasn't been hammered out over the last 7 days, is where is this thing actually taking place in Las Vegas? We don't know that yet. And how is this thing going to be judged? We don't know that either. And that part feels like they are, or those parts, feel like they are, in a quote, flying the plane while building it. And the sooner they can secure A, a location, and also determine B, how they are going to judge this final event, the better for all parties involved. And honestly, these would have been two things I thought would have already been locked in place before they even started promoting it. You have these two items in and the money locked in. Now you roll out all the big names in social media and the competition world and whoever else you think is going to bring you most bang for your buck when you're asking people to promote this Barbecue World Cup. But without the judging and without a location, A, you cannot continue to make plans, and B, you don't know what angle to take on how you're actually going to be cooking or what the judges might be looking for or anything along these lines. But this is where we're at the moment, and we will continue to track these items as they further develop. And if Scott would like to come back on the show to share these new things, happy to have him back on. Or if he would like to send these along for updates to the Centralites, I'm also happy to do that as well. But the money is locked down. $1 million plus, $1 million of the winner, and then an additional $100,000 or $200,000 to pay down and out. No location, no judging yet. So stay tuned on that. Malcom Reed is ready to go here in the green room. Maybe we'll get his updated take on Barbecue World Cup, and if he wouldn't mind taking in $1 million grand championship-wise. I have a feeling the answer will be yes, he would love that. Before we do that, let's talk about Primo Grills. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they are fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We also love that you can get rip-roaring hot for the high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking is very important to both professional and backyard cooks alike. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker isn't very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo, the game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that you desire, also giving you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. So when you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to cook on the Primo cooker. When you're also integrating all of the accessories and things like this. So you're only limited by your culinary imagination. They got all the accessories that you want, as I had mentioned. The bottom line is this. Do they have the best ceramics in the biz? Yes. Do they have patented technology? Indeed they do. True two-zone cooking capabilities, as we mentioned before, multiple sizes of ovals. So, only sold through dealers, so you're going to need to do a little effort. Go to primogrill.com, find a dealer near you. Visit said dealer, touch and feel all the ovals, and then buy the one that best fits your needs. Does it have to be an XL? No, I highly recommend it. Does it have to be a double XL? No, but I highly recommend it. As I said last week, nobody's ever bought a grill that was too big and bitched that it was too big. However, many of us have decided to go on the cheap skis and then complain that we didn't buy up. No buyer's remorse here. Buy up, be happy. Primogrill.com is the website. Follow them on Facebook or Instagram. We are back with Malcom Reed right after this.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard, the innovators behind Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the wireless Fireboard Pulse. Experience total control over your devices from anywhere in the world with the Fireboard app. Discover more by visiting fireboard.com or by calling 816-945-2232 today. Good folks over at Fireboard. Joining me now is the first Tuesday of the month regular guest, Yes, if you can believe it, we are starting Q3 of 2026, and there he is, Malcom Reed from How to Barbecue Right. Malcolm, we have a Would You Rather YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. Malcolm, would you rather spend a night in a dumpster or a porta potty?
Oh, man. Okay, I got a question for you.
All right.
Did they just empty the dumpster, or did they just clean the porta toilet, or are we talking like full use?
I think for this show, we're going full use on both.
All right, I'm gonna get off in that dumpster, I guess.
Yes, all right. 67% of the people agreeing with you, Malcolm, that they also would rather spend a night in a dumpster. I am also with Malcolm. I would much rather spend a night in the dumpster. I feel like you might be able to find a corner of a dumpster that maybe isn't as pungent in olfactory emanations. You get a bad porta potty, I mean, it is the worst experience ever.
Yeah. I've seen some of those after 2 days at a barbecue contest, and they're not pleasant.
Indeed. I've seen a weekend full of one never getting sucked out at old travel softball tournaments where there were no indoor facilities. And while Friday night it was like a palace, by Sunday evening it was a literal shithole and one you didn't want to be around. So before we get into some questions here, Malcolm, let me get your updated take, if you have one, on the Barbecue World Cup. I had Scott Erdman on last week for the first hour. We talked about the securement of the $1 million payout and then additional funds that would get paid out through category and through finish spot. But there's no judging at this point, and there's no location at this point. That's what was told to us by the co-founder. So where do you weigh out or suss out any of that information?
Well, the securing the money is the important part. That's the one as a barbecue cook. You want to make sure that organization has the funds it says it does. That's important. I think all that's coming. I mean, I think people are excited about it. The buzz is, everybody wants to, enter the contest. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but the ones that are announcing their qualifiers are filling up as fast as they put their application out. So they've got waiting lists for a lot of them now. And so the excitement's there. The unknown is, where's it going to be? We heard Vegas, so that's a big place. There's plenty of room out there to have a barbecue contest. There's been some big ones out there before that have done really well. So I think that's exciting. And then, knowing what kind of contests you're going to cook, that's the important part. So I think the way these pit masters are now, man, people are adaptable. They're ready to go no matter what kind of contest. If it's KCBS, if it's, some kind of on-site or some kind of World Foods type, finals or something like that. I think people are still be excited about it, and it's just going to be interesting to see which direction they decide to go.
Killer Hogs kicking off the rust for this one?
Man, I don't know. I'd like to say yes, and I keep looking at my weekends, and it's like, all right, I got a weekend in June that's not booked, and it's just as the weeks tick off, my weekends fill up, man. So I don't know.
That's the other unique part.
I might have to find a way to get there.
Of course. And that's another unique part of all of this. As we were getting through the conversation last week, it sounded like there might have been somewhere between 8 to 10 domestic contests that have not been added yet. And my question to Scott was, are you taking into account if you're going to drop one in New York or Virginia, or you name the place, there's probably a handful of other barbecue contests that might be going on within 100 miles or 200 miles of that event. And I would imagine if you signed up for the New York State Barbecue Championship, but a Barbecue World Cup qualifier dropped in Killington, Vermont, you might ditch the contest in New York if you get into the one in Vermont, because that's now a Barbecue World Cup qualifier. Does that, I don't want to say this is a Smoke Slam Memphis in May kind of a thing, but I would imagine because of the increasing popularity and now a confirmed $1 million payout, you could see some barbecue contests get pulled out of because other guys want to try their hand at getting into the Barbecue World Cup.
That's kind of the bad thing about it, having limited number of competitors. You think about it, this happened back when they were doing the Sam's Clubs contest. They would announce those and they would have them at different Sam's locations, and there was local contests going on, in close proximity to those, a lot of cases, and it killed some of those contests. Some of them never came back. So there's always going to be that give and take. I mean, when you put that much money out there and you have a high prestige contest, something that everybody wants to cook for, you expect the bulk of your people to want to go cook that. And it's just, I mean, that's part of it. It's a bad nature. I mean, you hate to see any contest or any small town or any organization lose money or funds or people because of, something like that. But I think that's just part of it.
Do you think we're going to ever see Smoke Slam again?
I don't know, man. That was, I don't want to say it was doomed from the get-go, but trying to do 2 contests of that scale in the same city, same weekend, one of them had to give. And I mean, they say they're coming back. They're just going to reorganize or whatever, get the funds back up, whatever it takes to do it again. But I don't know, man. It's going to be, Memphis in May is such a legendary contest, and it's got its roots, and I don't see it going away. So that's going to be a tough one. Maybe it'll come back. I'd like to see it come back and just be a different weekend, because I think you've got just as many people that would want to cook Memphis that would love to go back down there and cook another style contest. But it doesn't make any sense to try to do them in the same weekend.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I will give you my hot take on this whole thing as it happened over the last couple of years. I thought whoever is at Mempho Fest that's behind Smoke Slam, whatever, these guys came in, tried to do, in essence, a hostile takeover of Memphis in May to a point where maybe it's a co-branded thing now, or if Memphis in May brought to you by Mempho Fest, if it would have been done more behind the scenes and less aggressive, not on the same weekend, just talks behind the scenes, maybe this thing would look and feel a lot different. I think with Memphis in May moving to Liberty Park, that has hurt Memphis in May financially the last couple of years, and the taxes that are widely available online prove that out. So I think there is a monetary situation that Memphis in May continually has to evaluate. They can't exist in Liberty Park going forward, which leads me to my next question. I think we're going to see Memphis in May back in Tom Lee Park in some form or fashion next year, because as much as Memphis River Parks Partnership doesn't want to admit it, they need that contest there at the bottom of Beale Street to make everything back the way it was, sans the park not being the way it was.
Yeah.
Do you think that Memphis in May returns back to Tom Lee Park next year?
I would love to see it go back down there, because that's where it belongs, but it's just not, I mean, they can't do it at the scale they used to because of the modifications to that park. So, I don't see them changing that. They're not going to flatten the park back out. So if it does come back, it's going to have to be at a smaller scale, and that doesn't work either, because Memphis in May is growing. I mean, they're adding, new reasons to come to it. I mean, you look at Alfregoni coming in with the whole live fire edition. I thought that was genius. Memphis in May needs something like that to draw people in, to have a reason to come. And so I don't know, maybe they do some version of it to where it's split up and they have different events at different places or something like that. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have a good answer. There's not one, because, I mean, it's not from a cook standpoint. Liberty Park is not a bad place. Yep. It's easy to get in. There's plenty of room. There's ample parking. It's all asphalt. And then, you throw it into the Mud Fest, which was Tom Lee Park at the time, and it was always a nightmare, but we did it because we loved it. And the scenery is hard to beat. So there's gives and takes on both sides, man. And it's, I don't want to see it go away. I think Memphis in May is important to barbecue. It's important to the city of Memphis, and it's, important to a lot of people that I know personally. So it's it's a big part of our lives.
Did you deep fry an Uncrustable?
I did.
Wow. Look at you.
That's fat boy problems right there, Greg.
What's the inspiration? Like, are you a fan of Uncrustable and you needed to kick it up a notch?
It was more of this is for TikTok. It was, you try to get some shock value on there and always thinking up. And so me and Tyler are sitting around thinking of, what can we do that's crazy? We were talking about, I know you've seen this show on TV where it shows all the fair foods, and they're mostly like up in, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, these places that have awesome fairs. And they have some of the weird, every year they have new type foods, and they're always deep frying something. I was like, man, we've got these shell-by snacks for all the guys that come and help us when we film and stuff. And so there's this box of Uncrustables in the refrigerator. And I was like, man, I think I could deep fry that. I think it'd be pretty good. And so we just did it. And it was really, man, I highly recommend a deep fried Uncrustable.
Really?
Now, they're not good for you. There's no possible way. But it is really good. It's really good.
Yeah, as soon as you add the deep frying part of it, whatever potential healthy remnants were sticking on that thing are immediately out the window. But I mean, as a as a guy that loves to watch people cook and come up with new things, I mean, that thing was certainly attention grab. How many views did you get on?
Yeah. Oh man, it was in the millions. It was a bunch.
Wow. I had Susie Bullock on week before last, and we were talking about how they were out potentially for an investor not too long ago and didn't work out. They're looking to scale, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of this came on the heels of them really get into the products portion of this business outside of the recipes and the views and the grill squad, whatever they had. And you kind of made your way into this conversation, and so did Heath, and so did Pittman. And did you guys ever, you and Rochelle, ever talk about wanting to grow the product side of it to the point where you were looking to take on an investor? Were you ever approached about that?
Man, we get emails every day about people wanting to invest or to, bring capital into the company so you can expand your product line or help you with distribution and all that. But we've been pretty careful about what we do like that. I mean, we've never, we try to, our business never was products. I mean, we didn't look at it as product. We looked at it as media, as putting out barbecue recipes and just, and so that was kind of our approach of it. And the products were just a de facto something that we were doing to pay the bills. We needed something to sell. And so we realized the products do really well, and we've done really good job of, getting distribution and spreading them around and selling them all over the world. But, one of these days I don't know if my sons, if we're going to have a second generation running the business or not, but there'll come a time where we have to make a decision what we want to do with the company. I mean, hopefully it's not any time in the near future, because it still feels like we're getting started. I mean, I don't know if it's just because we stay busy or we're always, you're always on the go and you don't have really time to think about what you've done, but it still feels like, the grownups are going to show up and really show us what to do business wise.
Yeah. Bad news, Malcolm. We're the grownups.
Yeah, I
know. Yeah, the other bad news is this. February 7th was the 18th year anniversary of live shows for the Barbecue Central show, then tack on 2 more years in podcasts before that. And, I'm going on 20 years of covering this industry from stem to stern in a podcast to start, and now doing it online here live for the last, almost 2 decades. So we've seen a lot change. We've seen a lot of people come. We've certainly seen a lot of people go. And I think the point I'm trying to make is, for somebody who has been in it just as long as me or longer, because you were also competing and I never did any of that, it's funny to feel like you're in the chaos of every day, but if you can even pull yourself out just for 30 seconds like you did and realize how much time has actually transpired. Yeah. It's kind of shocking that we're kind of like 50 or approaching 50 or a little over 50, and how much longer do you want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I had, we had this discussion today about how long you've been doing it, and I guess like 16, 17 years. I knew it was longer than, 20. I thought you were right at 20.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it 16. So you got me by a few years, but not many. And I remember when you first started, but, looking at it, I don't know, man. I turned 50 this year. Luckily, I married a younger wife. So Shell's 5 years younger than me. So I'd say I got me a young one, and she's not ready to give up yet.
Yep.
And so, I mean, we've got a son that's going to graduate high school. We got to put him through college. That's not going to be, it's not going to be cheap.
Yep.
And so I know I got to keep working to pay for that. So I'm looking, I've probably got at least 7, 8 more years I got to go. Well, that's going to put me, late 50s. And if I can make it to 65, man, that would be fantastic. I mean, I don't know, but I don't have a limit, man. I think as far as, the grind is what's hard. Coming and talking to you, that's the podcast stuff, making videos, all that doesn't, that's stuff that I actually enjoy. I think I would probably be doing that if it wasn't my job anyway, just because it's my passion. And so I think when you find something like that that doesn't feel like work to you, it's easier to do it and it's easier to keep on going. There's going to come a time where we want to, travel or do it. We just hope we have some years left when we get to that. But it's just, I don't know if it's in either one of us to just stop.
Has Michael shown any interest or uttered any verbiage to the fact that he might want to take it over at some point?
I know he doesn't like the camera stuff, being out front and center. That's not, he's more like his mom. More introverted, I guess. But yeah, from the business side point, he does. He's interested in it. He's asking questions. He's always wanting to learn. He loves, trying to do the editing and a lot of the stuff that goes on the business side that I wouldn't think he would be interested in. That's the stuff he's shown interest in. So that kind of gets me excited and hopeful. I would never push him to do it because it's not easy. When running your own business is really, really hard, especially when you have employees that their lives depend on you too. So it's, that part's a challenge, but man, I want him to be able to go and do whatever he wants to do. I don't want him to feel forced.
I'm going to ask you and Sam the same question here tonight because both of you are right on the cusp of breaking into whatever the next millionth subscriber is for you. So it's coming up for 2 million on you. You're at 1.9 currently, and I think Sam is at 3.86, just getting ready to crest over into 4. But as I look at numbers and I look at how many, because I do it every month, right? Malcom Reed has got this many million subscribers as of this date. Across YouTube, it seems to have really throttled back on where I used to see you and Sam gain each and every month, and it was like hundreds of thousands of followers, it seemed like. And you could guarantee that you were going to get 500,000 by half the year and perhaps into another million by the end of a year. And it's not there anymore. Concerning to you at all, or are we just at a different time? And do you expect it to come back to YouTube at all?
I don't know if it's going to come back to YouTube like it was. I feel like they kind of got behind the 8 ball a little bit on the short content when you had these other platforms come on and it took off. I mean, you had a big it started. It didn't really start with Facebook, even though Facebook is the biggest one at all. I don't know if it's bigger than YouTube, but it's huge. But we had Instagram come on, and then people really, the younger crowd flocked to Instagram, and then you had TikTok come on. And so I feel like the content is spread now. So if you're not playing on all of them, you're behind. And so where we were seeing tremendous growth on one platform, now it's kind of spread off against 4 or 5. And so the growth is still there. It's still ticking up, but where the actual videos or the content's getting viewed is changing. You have more people coming to podcasts now. Podcasts have really exploded. So I think what we're seeing is, man, the cell phones, the short form content, that's what people are viewing and that's what they're wanting to see. And so where we used to have a retention of, 6 to 7 minutes for a video, that was considered, long form back then. Now you're seeing, man, if you can get somebody's attention for 3 minutes, you're doing good. But more than likely it's under, 59 seconds. And so you have to get your point across pretty quick now. And that's tough to do in recipe videos. It's, we find our way around it, and we try to make interesting content and stuff people want to watch, but a lot of it's almost like it's clickbait. You're just trying to get someone to swipe on it, stick, and then to come back and watch it again. So it's, I don't know, YouTube's always going to be there because it's such a great resource. It catalogs everything, but I think it does a better job than any other platform being able to find what you actually want to look for. But the views just aren't what they were on that platform.
Malcom
For
Reed,
us older guys, they're not.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Malcom Reed joining us here on the show. You can find him over at How to BBQ Right, and you can see him here the first Tuesday of every month. Malcom, always appreciate the time, and we will see you in April.
In April, man. Have a good one, Greg.
Here we
Thanks.
go. Malcom Reed right there. Always the pro, getting out on time, which I certainly appreciate. If you are not subscribed to him, shame on you. You should be. Help get him to 2 million subscribers, for crying out loud. How to BBQ Right, or at How to BBQ Right on YouTube. So Malcom is going to take a night in the dumpster over the porta pot. We'll see what Mike Lang is willing to do in just a few moments. Before we get to him, I will talk to you quickly. This just in. How bad? Oh, no. I can't read this. It's too tragic.
What?
Huh? All right, let me get back on track here. Let me talk to you about Big Papa Smokers. The competition circuit is getting ready to ignite. Elevate your barbecue game with championship flavor from Big Papa Smokers. Ensure your pantry is stocked with essentials like the award-winning Sweet Money and the indispensable brisket and steak rub. Don't let the smoke roll without being prepared. Whether you're aiming for a grand champion trophy or just mastering your backyard grill, Big Papa's delivers award-winning taste. Maybe he's got something that Jared Allen can put on his knee. How about that? We can't lose him. Get your flavor advantage now at BigPapaSmokers.com. You can use promo code REMPE26, R-E-M-P-E, and then the numerals 26 at checkout for free shipping. Exclusions apply. Big Papa Smokers, real barbecue, real life. Mike Lang next.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back, and we thank Malcom Reed for joining us last segment. Out of bbqright.com. This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cookers. Truly one of the most unbelievable outdoor cooking devices on the planet. Available in 3 sizes with a variety of accessories. Regardless of your skill level, from beginner to professional, this is a must-have cooker to add to your collection. Go to pitbarrelcooker.com and let them know the Barbecue Central Show sent you. My next guest is back for his first quarterly appearance in 2026. You can follow him socially at Another Pint Please and on his latest account, Grillagraphers.cut. You know him from his work with industry leader Weber, his books, One Beer Grilling, and his other book, NASCAR Race Day Eats. I can't take that. That's not good. Sam, the cooking guy, calling me on the phone. I can't answer that, but calling me now cannot be good for later, but we'll continue to press through it. Did I mention NASCAR Race Day Eats? Yes. He's also an inaugural member of the Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame all the way back in 2018, if you can believe it. Welcoming back Mike Lang to the show. Mike, I apologize. I'm not sure if I sent you the wrong link or not, but you are not Sam the cooking guy, but you will be tonight.
No worries.
I'm not going to go fix that and waste any time. Mike, we have a YouTube poll question of the week, a would you rather. Would you rather spend a night in the dumpster or a night in the porta potty?
Oh, dumpster, for sure. I can spread out.
Yeah. I agree. And I told Malcolm last segment, there's probably a corner of that dumpster that's a little less repugnant than in other areas. But if you get into, no pun intended, a shitty porta potty, there's no running from that. You are up the shit creek for real.
Yeah, you're stuck. I've been in enough dumpsters. I would definitely take the dumpster.
What are you doing in dumpsters?
Oh, when I was working, I was still on the job.
Oh, right. Dumpster dive for criminal evidence.
Dumpster diving for a reason. That's why you always keep an extra pair of boots and a pair of overalls in your car.
Yeah. Did you have like the hazmat suit thing or not? Is that just TV stuff?
No, you do for certain things. A dumpster is just not wanting to get super dirty, but don't want to ruin your nice suit. Definitely
not.
No.
So, how's this new Instagram account going? Months in at this point.
Good. It's kind of funny. I started it on a lark, which you never know.
Wait,
I mean, you do the same thing for
just
over
for
and
one
over.
second. Let me stop just for 1 second. I mean, can we please appreciate Mike Lang's whole setup? I mean, look at
Thank you.
The books on the back. There's a little Weber grill on there. Those are obviously Mike Lang hung shelves, which of course I'm envious of. You got another Weber kettle behind the back right there that's tan colored. You are just set up. What a pro! You are a pro's pro, Mike. I mean, as somebody who loves production and wishes he had half the stuff that you have behind him, I am envious and also thankful that I can have somebody of your caliber on the show quarterly.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yes. So sorry to interrupt. Go ahead with how Grillographer is going.
No, you're fine. And I will say this is the first time I've had this set up with you. Usually I've got like the storage in the back.
Yeah.
But if you've watched any Weber videos in the last year, plus once I've had this running, this is usually the background. So set up, ready to go. But to answer your question, yeah, I wanted a different outlet to share more behind the scenes stuff in terms of photography and videography. And I kind of wanted to do it for two reasons. Number one, I think I've gotten so much knowledge from other people online. I thought it's time I should probably share some things I've learned that I think others may appreciate. But, I also learned that I always learn things better when I teach it and I break it down and I talk about it. I taught forensic science and crime scene investigations for a good chunk of my career. And I learned just so much more by doing that besides actually doing it in the field. And I kind of took that same approach to what I'm doing with Grillographer's Cut. And it's kind of cool because I've actually connected with a whole bunch of different creators that I was not already created with, not only in the food space and some pretty, some big accounts. And I appreciate their insight and communication, but also a lot of people outside of the food space. And it could have been automotive or just simply, your local videographer service. There's a lot of commonality in what we do, even if the focus of what you're shooting is completely different.
Are they asking for tips or are you guys sharing trade secrets?
It's a couple of things. One, tips. Two, also just mutual support, build your community, be a part of it. There's a community for food. There's also a community for video. And with the ability to record anything on your phone these days and grab it, that's certainly a great outlet for a lot of things. But a lot of times for things like this, I set up, I do it because I enjoy it, not because I feel it's going to, be required for whatever I'm doing, but it's because I truly enjoy it. Since I was 15 years old, stringing 2 VCRs together and a Radio Shack audio mixer to try to make videos when I was in high school, it's been a passion for a very long time.
What are some of the top tips for home cooks when they are looking to elevate their food photography and make their weekend cookouts look more magazine worthy?
Yeah, the biggest thing is lighting. And that doesn't mean you have to go out and buy fancy lighting. It simply means if the sun is out or you've got directional light from somewhere, be aware of it. And then secondly, try to put that light either to the side or to the back. And smoke's a great example for that because you only see smoke if it's backlit. And in fact, I was taking some pictures just last week and I was lucky because I was just shooting natural light. Well, actually, that's not true. I was shooting flash and natural light. However, the sun was going down and I was accenting it. And man, it looks stunning and you can see it and it's beautiful and it's cinematic. And I think whenever we go out to the grill, we want to capture that sort of cinematic feeling because we're excited about what we're making and we want that to come through in the image. So if you're aware of your light and you can use that light, you're going to be better off because of it.
You've been involved in the barbecue and grilling space for decades at this point, and you have relationships with the big dogs like Weber, of course, and you do the book writing. What's the biggest trend you see emerging in our industry in 2026?
I think live fire cooking.
Yeah.
From talking, I think the open fire meetup we talked about last time with what Al's doing, the grills coming out and everything. I think that's probably going to be a big deal this year, which is cool. It's actually an area I don't have 100% efficiency in, but I'm so intrigued by it, like so many other cooking methods. But I really see that as something you're going to see more of this year. Plus, it's different. People like things that are different. It's definitely different from what we've been doing.
So I think I might have said it last time, but I feel like a lot of people are interested in watching people cook open fire and less of a percentage or a higher percentage. I'm getting my thoughts mixed up here. So I think a lot of people want to watch that. I don't think a lot of people want to actually cook like that. Do you agree with that?
I don't know. Why do you think that? Too much work? Too much effort?
I think in the end, boy, I'm getting ready to paint with a broad stroke, so I apologize to every human ever. I think with the advent and increased popularity of pellet cookers and technology, or pellet cookers coupled with technology, there's been a lot of things that a generation of new live fire cookers haven't had to learn. Don't need to learn how to make a fire, don't need to know how to maintain a fire, don't need to know how to put more air on a fire to do this, or take less air off a fire to do that, or use a choke on the chute. A lot of things that just were natural things that we had to learn back in the early 2000s when I was getting into it. And they're skills that I'm glad I have. Do I use them all the time? No. But if I'm put in a position, if I went to your house, I could cook on everything you have. And if I went to Rasheed Phillips' house, I could cook on everything he had. I don't know if the generation that didn't have to learn that is able to do that. That's also where we start throwing around the term pitmaster, I suppose. So, yes, I think it looks cool. There's a lot of work there and a lot of things that you have to know how to scatter those coals around and build heat and take some heat away, and you're continually burning wood. There's a whole money wasting thing that races in my mind with that kind of stuff as well, but you're doing it a certain way and I understand it. So I think those are the two biggest things. Again, really cool to look at, especially when you got the big fence over it and you're hanging the fruits and the meat and all that weird shit. Aesthetically pleasing to no end. Somebody like you would love the video and still shot that thing like crazy, but I don't know if, for as much as we talk about this growing popularity or trending, I don't know if we're really going to see it in backyards as much as we saw pellet cookers take over for 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, I think your point's valid. However, I also look at it, though, is that people want to be able to stand out. If you look at your average backyard guy, and let's say you live in, any town, USA, and you figure, all right, do any of my neighbors have this? No, I'm going to get it because that's the kind of guy I am. And I think you're going to see those pockets of it. You're going to see more than you did, because if you're cooking on a device like that, it's cool as shit.
Yeah.
You're going to get a crowd that's going to want to come over and see what you are doing. And I think that's going to grow, and you are going to see an increase in it. You're right to the broader point. Yeah, pellet cooking is so easy. It's great because some nights I just want to go outside, flip a switch, and still have a grilled dinner with little effort. But when it comes down to it, my favorite time is dumping, a charcoal chimney full of lit briquettes into a kettle and going from there.
So since the last time Blackstone has entered into the open fire market with their own Santa Maria style grill, I would imagine entry level price point, way more acceptable to John and Jane general public than it would be to get a Al Fragoni special at many thousands of dollars. Build quality different. I mean, two different worlds to be sure, but if we're just looking at apples and oranges, the Blackstone could get people in, dip your toe in, see if you like it, like you could with a cheaper pellet cooker when those things were really popular. Not that they are not popular still, but I guess I do buy into what you're talking about from a cool standpoint, and it doesn't have to break the bank, I guess, is the ultimate long way to get wherever the hell I was going. How was the NASCAR book doing for you?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
A lot of good feedback on everything. I know a lot of different racetracks have been buying lots of copies as race season starts up from talking to the publisher. Yeah, but the response has been really nice so far. It's been great.
Any calls from Michael Jordan?
No, but I have been watching. Kelly Crandall, who was great and did all the NASCAR facts for the book. She's been out there covering the races and everything, and I'm waiting to see when she gets an interview with him, because that's probably not too far away.
So Another Pint Please is a platform that we know of that is often pairing really good beers with really great food. At some point, Mike, we might get into spring type weather. Actually, it might be tomorrow here, but it's going to be going away here shortly as we head into next week. What's a perfect food and beverage pairing that you'd recommend the audience to try this weekend?
Something with spring coming, I'm just thinking simple. So grilled chicken thighs and a nice crisp lager. I tell you what, it's not my favorite wintertime beer by far. I'm usually in the Imperial Stout area. But the end of last summer before fall, I really enjoyed a lager, and I've not done that for quite a long time. So I'm looking forward to those warmer days when it's been, you've been sweating outside, working outside, and just that wonderful effervescent taste of a lager, and not like a macro brand, but seek out something, either a German style Pilsner or any craft brewery nearby you that's got a really good Pilsner as well, or a lager. It's just, it hits the spot.
What's your take on microbrewery at this point? Has that seen its heyday and it's starting to phase out?
I think everything goes through cycles, and there's actually a couple really good accounts on beer marketing that I follow. Everything from like the price point of buying quote unquote craft beer It's better to buy it in a 12 pack than it is in a 6-pack because the price point is much better and gets people to purchase it. But others say, well, if it comes in a 12 pack, it's not craft beer. I think there's certainly been some pullback. I think the drinking culture's changed a little bit, tastes change a little bit. Look at Sam Adams. They dug big into the Truly brand and all your hard seltzers, and that's pulled back some. Twisted Tea is big for them now, but the core brand's not what it was. But most importantly, I say drink local. I've got places around here that I love. We've lost a bunch of breweries and through Ohio, but there are still some great ones locally, and always support your local because you always want them to be there. It's that culture that to me is what it really is about.
You like Fathead?
I do like Fathead. When I'm up your way, Hartville, I always hit Fathead. Yeah.
Are they like a big little brand or are they a big brand?
Yeah, they're bigger. I'm not sure how far their distribution is. At least, they're all throughout Ohio, obviously, I'm sure adjacent states. So I'm not sure how far afield they get, like a Stone or something like that, or a Sam Adams. Even Rheingeist, I don't think is too far from a distribution standpoint down in Cincinnati.
Smoking any good cigars lately?
Well, you're a guest in the next hour. We'll appreciate it. I had last night, I had the Red Label McAuliffe. The weather was finally good. It was 2 nights ago. And good meaning it was like 50 degrees and it wasn't snowing. But I just can't wait for a warmer day to sit outside the grill studio and light one up. It was great.
When you're going back and forth on social media and people are asking for advice, is there something common that you're seeing most often from a mistakes standpoint that home grillers are doing right now? And if it is, what's the correction they should be making?
I think it's usually a matter of sometimes food being either not cooked enough or overcooked or underseasoned. That's usually what I see. And it's not specific. A lot of times it's things you experience or from talking to people. They may be afraid to cook something too much or cook something too soon. I don't want to burn it, but also I don't want to overcook it. It's kind of a dance. So once again, get your thermometer, understand the principles of the protein that you're cooking. Chicken thighs can go much more than a chicken breast, and be aware what those limits are. And, go good with the season. I think one thing I was thinking about for this year is that cook the same things you cooked last year, but change the flavor profile. I love a lot of ethnic foods. I'm kind of on an Indian kick right now. So I've been kind of thinking, okay, well, how can I make this more in line with an Indian flavor profile? More cumin, more coriander, more turmeric, curries. It's a whole world out there. And I think by using things and other ethnicities to what we normally grill is really a cool area because you know how to grill it. Just make it taste different and go down that rabbit hole.
Do you have a stress-free grilling recipe that is your go-to during the week?
Probably smash burgers. Number one, it's family approved.
Yeah.
Number two, it's just, they're so easy. You get everything ready to go and you're off the griddle in maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes tops. They're just so good. It's kind of funny. I never would have thought I'd been that big of a fan of smash burgers at home, but that is a reoccurring meal. Past that, probably skirt steak.
Yeah. All right. Well, are you flank steak guy too, or?
I like flank steak. I think I like skirt more. Yeah. Just like flat iron, I've got to kind of be in the right mood for it. But yeah, definitely skirt steak for me. That's a winner.
Also in the Rempe household, family approved is the smash burger. So we did we did successive days of smash burgers, Saturday and Sunday last weekend. And I think I would eat them every day. It's easily my favorite burger ever. Grew up on burgers, different kinds of burgers, but I was a little late on the smash burger train, but I finally got in there on the caboose, worked my way to the front, and realized, man, I don't know what I was waiting on, but this is really great, and you can make them simply. They almost beg to be simply dressed. You can quickly get over your skis on if you're going to overtop these things, but I think the essence of a really good smash burger is very few condiments, and I know people will shit on me because I might do a little dab of ketchup, but hey, my palate, whatever, that's my 7-year-old self coming out. But I'll be damned if they're not the best burgers to date and maybe ever.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. They are truly something else, and I never would imagine as well that they were such frequently prepared around here. Yeah, they're great.
Anything else coming up short of a September visit for Grill Fest 2026?
No, just looking forward to getting out of this cast after a rotator cuff surgery so I can go back to normal grilling and video work. I've been kind of one-arming it lately, but that is what's on my near radar, as well as some continuing work for Board and Cheese, another one of their cheese brands. And of course, Ace Hardware's Loudmouth Rubs, Weber work. And also, I will be talking about a non-food related item here soon, too, I'll be working on. So kind of excited about that.
All right. So we look forward to hearing about that. It is not Sam the cooking guy. It is indeed Mike Lang from Another Pint, Please. Mike, always appreciate the time, and we'll see you in a couple months.
Greg, thanks so much. Have a great night.
You got it. Mike Lang right there. Again, anotherpintplease.com, or follow him on the social medias. You can find him on Instagram, of course, or check him out on, or should I say, and check him out on grillographers.cut. If you are an aspiring food stylist, you like to take pictures, videos, you're in that whole realm and you want to see how a real pro does it, doesn't get any better than Mike Lang. Grillographers.cut on Instagram, or Another Pint Please on Instagram, or both. Let's get rap. Let's get rap. Or let's get let's get ready to wrap the first hour. I will check my phone and see if Sam has sent me a follow-up text message on what his call was about in the middle of the first hour. And we will go from there. Stick around, be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Mike Lang for joining us last segment. AnotherPintPlease.com is the website. At Another Pint Please is Instagram. Also on Instagram, but a completely different concept, at Grillographers.cut. Grillopher. It's Grillographers.cut. Luckily, Sam the cooking guy did follow up with me on the phone call. Like, there's no way he thought I was going to answer the phone, right? He knows I'm in the middle of an interview. Well, we've got it sorted out. By the way, shout out to Mike Lang for the having a McAuliffe Red. This is a man that knows cigar flavor. And we're excited to talk about something new from McAuliffe. Actually, multiple new things, now that I'm thinking about it. I think you're going to be excited. If you're a fan of McAuliffe, and I know everybody that listens to this show is a fan of McAuliffe because I have fashioned you with many different samples. I was just trying to think, how do I rate 1, 2, 3? Like, what are my top 3 McAuliffe cigars right now? Black, red, and green. Easily. All right, we're going to step away. We'll get ready for the second hour. And when we come back, we'll get an update on the poll. That's starting to claw back to 50-50, believe it or not. And we'll run through some other things as well, give you a look at what's coming up on the Best Moments show this coming Friday. So stick around for all of that, and we'll be right back.